What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets Action Network's NBA betting podcast. This is the Thursday edition presented by our guys over at FanDuel. I am your host, Sean Little, joined by my guy, Joe Delera. Jay, what's going on?
Dude, we're chilling. We had a good day today. The Knicks won, and we cashed that Halliburton ladder we gave out on his assists and his game back. So today was nice. I know you had a front row seat to the Knicks. So, I mean, how was that, dude?
Yeah, I was at the Knicks. That was great. I was on I got a little greedy, man. I really liked the DeMar DeRozan over 25 and a half play I gave out yesterday. That ended up cashing late. He had a big fourth quarter. And I gave out super late, like 4:30, couple hours before tip. Trae Young over 2.5 threes. He hasn't gone over this number in 17 of 23 games. 77% of the time he had not been going over. I thought this was a spot as with the Knicks giving up as many threes as they do,
Yep.
lead the league in threes given up. It'd be an opportunity for him to get some 3-point balls up. He's not even looking at the 3-point line right now. Period, point blank. And I underestimated Quentin Grimes, but that's in the past. We had a positive day. Halliburton did his thing. DeRozan cashed me out. That's where I had a majority of my money. This Thursday slate, though, is looking a little dry. It's
We've
a little
seen
three.
better.
Yeah, we've seen better slates, no question. A little three game setup on Thursday in the NBA. We have the Clippers in Miami. We have the Houston Rockets going to the San Antonio Spurs, and then the best game on the board, what we'll be dipping into here is the Denver Nuggets traveling to Portland to play the Trailblazers, Dame Lillard squad, or should I say Anthony Simon squad, or should I say Jeremy
Oh,
Grant squad? I don't know whose squad it is right now, but we're going to break that game down. All right, let's kick it off. JD, give me your best bet. I'll give mine, and then we'll get rolling.
dude, this is a spicy under. I hate betting unders, but I think this is a spot. I'm taking Jokic under 11 and a half rebounds. It's like there's a little bit of juice on this. So I'm wondering if it's already gotten hit a little bit, but I love this spot. And I think he might score a lot, but I don't think he's going to be grabbing as many boards. What about you?
All right, I'm going over 226 in that same game. Over 226, Denver Nuggets, Portland Trailblazers. This is going to be a competitive till. We'll break it down here in a second. I was looking at before we get into the Jokic prop. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go straight into the Jokic prop. Talk to me about the under 11 and a half. JD texted me and he said, I got a spicy under for the pod I'm going to give out. I was like, I know this has to do something with the back-to-back MVP Jokic. Talk to me about why you think he's going under 11 and a half boards.
So look, when you look at both of these teams, they both play at a bottom 10 pace in the league. So when we consider that, like we should see fewer possessions, longer possessions, and it should be able to like kind of drag this game out. Additionally, when you look at this, the Blazers have Yusuf Nurkic, and Nurkic has been like he's kind of like that big body. He just likes to grab boards. Like he struggles in certain coverages, but against a guy like Jokic, he's actually pretty valuable because he's a strong defensive player. So with that in mind, Jokic has played 13 games against Nurk, and he's only gone over this line in two of them. So I think that that's significant, especially when both of those games were back in 2018. So we're talking about a couple of years ago now. Everybody's got a couple more miles on those legs. So I think this is a spot where I'm going to back him. He might score. He might be able to score. He might be able to dish a little bit. But I think this is a spot where I'm going to see the rebounds dip. Additionally, both of these teams have really good offenses, at least like relative to the rest of the league. And their defenses are both below average. So when you take that into consideration in terms of like makes, I think, and this goes kind of to your over, but I think that there's going to be more makes, and it's a little bit harder, obviously, to gather rebounds when teams are scoring and they're not missing any shots. So I like this spot, and I'm going to take that under 11 and a half. It's a line he's hit in 52% of his games this year, but I think we go under, especially in this spot, and he did earlier in the season as well.
Yeah, October 24th is last time these two guys played, Jokic versus Nurkic. Nikola had the 9, 9, and 9, only took 4 shots in
Yeah.
27 minutes. Nurkic had 13 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. Overall, better game. And the Blazers won 135, 110. So
It's a lot of
that is
points.
just a lot of points in that matchup. And that's partly why I'm looking at this over. I'm going to go over 226. in this Nuggets Trailblazers matchup. We have the revenge angle. They lost by 25 points last time they saw these guys.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets are coming off 3 straight losses now in December. Had a tough loss against Dallas the other night on national TV. This is a spot where I believe the Denver Nuggets are going to show up, probably get the win. I lean on them to cover the 1 point number as well. But I'm gonna look here and grab a ticket on over 226. I think it's going to be a competitive game. They have the revenge factor. Jokic is, and I agree with you on a lot of things you said about him focusing on scoring rather than trying to clean up the boards. That Nurkic matchup is interesting. They seem, going back a couple years, they've had some games where, for example, go back to January 13th, 2022. Jokic had 20 points, but only had 8 total rebounds. It's been a grind against each other. For whatever reason, he doesn't get up a lot of shots against Nurkic. So that's also interesting. 10 attempts on January 13th, 2022. And then the most recent matchup, he only got up 4 attempts in 27 minutes, which is interesting. Go back to November 14th, 2021. He did get up 17 shots, 11 of 27, had 28 points, 9 boards, 9 assists. But you would have to go all the way back to 2021, May 2021, for him to go over that 11 and a half board number that you're going under. So that's an interesting play. I like it. I think, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, even if you're a little nervous about it, like his PRA line's at 43.5. But I mean, my concern, and it's like you said, it's like, look, like he had a fucking triple single last time. That's not like him. Like I could see him like putting up a ton of points in this matchup and just being like, nah, like I'm gonna score.
Especially them coming off 3 losses. They haven't had Michael Porter Jr. in the lineup. This feels like one of those spots where let's get a W here, man. We should have closed the door on Dallas. Tim Hardaway Jr. went crazy. We kind of let that game slip away. So we didn't get that W. Let's go up to Portland and really compete. And I think that's why you see them being the favorite here at -1, juice to a -115. So
100%.
I may end up on Denver -1 here at some point as well. But right now I'm going to give out over 226 in a competitive game where Dame Lillard is now back in the fold. Him, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant are walking baskets at 20 apiece. I wouldn't be surprised if all 4 of those guys scored 20 points tomorrow.
Dude, that's probably a fun little, I guarantee that's probably like kind of fat. Like it's probably kind of juicy odds wise. I wonder
that's one of those spots where, and hopefully it's one of those things where it's Dame, Simons, and Grant focused. Nurkic focuses on cleaning up the boards.
Yeah.
And Jokic can score. We can push this over the total. I really like to focus on totals, especially overs, when the number is very short and tight. They're telling you it's going to be a competitive game. The Nuggets, you don't want to be in a spot where you're losing 4 straight. So I don't care if it's in Denver or it's in Portland. And that's when I want to look at numbers. We talked about the Nuggets defense not being very good right before we hopped on the mic here. They're giving up like 114 a night. That's like right in the lower half of the league. I want to say like in between like at 15, 16, 17 mark. They're defensively, they're not very good. Now, Portland's been playing better defense, but I also think that's a touch overrated. And I think Denver's going to come in and try to get busy. One of the best first quarter scoring teams in the NBA. I believe they might be the highest scoring team in the NBA in the first quarter. They come out and get busy early. I like this game to go over 226. It's 226 -110 across the board. So we'll see if we see any movement on that come the morning as we record this here on Wednesday night for Thursday morning. But I'm going to give out 226 over Nuggets, Portland Trailblazers. We wanted to get in and maybe do something with the Spurs, or I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
Because this is, the feeling I have right now. And sometimes there's no real deep cap. It's like, I feel like this is a spot where team could show up and get a W. We've talked
like they've been buns, but like
the Spurs have been insanely bad. I want to say they've lost 15 of 16. Don't quote me on that. But
it's been a lot. It's been a lot in a row.
Yeah, it's right around that number. They've been really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I have this similar feeling that, and if you listen to Buckets yesterday with me and Jay Money, I'm like, man, Jay, this Magic Clippers number feels funny.
Hmm.
It opened at 7,
Yeah, and then the
went down,
Clippers like
went
just
down to
went
6.5, went down to 5. And I'm like, man, Jay, I really want to take the Magic here. But I really like DeRozan to bounce back after 2 flat games at
fair.
home in a spot where they were really gonna have a chance to get a W against the Wizards. That ends
Yeah.
up coming in. But I have a similar feeling here on the Spurs. It's hard to back really bad teams, but two and a
Yeah.
half is a 2.5 is a funky number. The money line's only plus 120. They're at home. I would not be surprised if the Spurs got a W and Keldon Johnson had 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those games, dude. Like the Rockets aren't good either. Like the Spurs have lost 11 in a
Right.
row. The Rockets are coming off that win against the 76ers. And it's just kind of like, but it's an overtime game. So it's like now you got this matchup against the Spurs. Maybe you're a little tired. Maybe you party a little bit because like you got one win and like you're at 7-17 now. But like, maybe you had a little bit of fun. So maybe this is a little bit of a tough spot against a team that like the Rockets probably coming in. They're like, yo, like we should win this game. Like, you got like a lot of
Yeah.
young guys and you're just like, we should win this game. And it's like, you're the Rockets. So you should never feel like you're going to
Right.
win a game. Like, honestly, like you
Yeah,
should, but at the same
sure.
time, it's like you should always have that like dog mentality. And it's possible they don't for this type of matchup. I mean, it's concerning that the Spurs are literally like by far the worst team in adjusted net rating.
Yeah, it's
But,
not even close.
it's like not even close. But like, it's kind of like, I agree with you. It's one of those spots where it's like, if you really are capping this from like a not even like I don't want to say narrative, but from like a situational perspective, it's like, yeah, like I don't think that talent wise, we look at the Spurs and we go, yeah, they're that much worse than the Rockets. So you're getting about 2.5 points now in the market too. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they can like hang tight, keep this within a possession, if not win. One prop that I am looking for on the Spurs,
And
I know
really
you
quick,
mentioned,
officially, they've
yeah,
lost 14 of 15.
that's
So not 15 of
disgusting.
16, but
Yeah.
officially they've lost 14 of 15. And their one win is in their last 15 is against the Bucks, and they won by 18.
That's insane. Like, of course it is.
that's
Of
a
course
that's
it
a
is.
that's a classic NBA
That's the
NBA
NBA for
sentence
you.
right there. But yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead
that's
with
the
the
NBA.
with the Spurs prop.
Oh no, I was gonna say the play that I like is I don't think there's a line just yet, but I'm looking at Devin. I'm looking at Devin Vassell. So I think that he's really become like a really like an elite sharp shooting 3-point guy, and they've been setting his line depending on how you get it, like 2.5, like with a little bit of juice, or 3.5 of plus money. That's a spot that I'm absolutely looking to take him in. The Rockets are just abysmal. Like they are allowing some of the like the highest like frequency of threes. I think it's second highest in the league. And then also like when we look at this too, like from an actual makes perspective, they're not really stopping you either. Like guys are shooting 38.2% from 3-point range, and that's just Vassell's bread and butter. So I fully expect him to smack that line, probably take that up to even 5. I think this is a great spot for him.
Yeah, I love it. I love Keldon Johnson. He's one of my
Yeah,
favorite players.
he's
I
a
think,
dog.
yeah, I think it's almost like free Keldon Johnson. Like I think he could really help a lot of
He
teams
could. He's a
that are.
bucket. He's a
He's a
bucket.
bucket, no question. I really think, and he's not as efficient as he can be right now because he doesn't have like. There's no reason to be. Like what? Why? I have no reason to be efficient right now. Like I'm just gonna go out here and get shots up
Yeah.
by any means necessary. But yeah, I love his offensive game. He can really score
Yeah.
when given the rock and the opportunity, which he is given out there in San Antonio. So I wouldn't be mad at looking at his prop as well. I have one more play for you that I like, but there's no line on it, so I'm not going to give it out on an official play. But
Fair.
in Heat Clippers, the third quarter over, the Heat are 5-0 to the over in their last 5 games. The Clippers are 5-1 to the over in their last 6 games on the road. So the Clippers third quarter on the road goes
Okay.
over. The Miami Heat at home goes over. So when that line drops tomorrow, when you're listening to this pod on Thursday, take a look at that number. If you get something around 52, 53, 53 and a half, I might look at taking the over in that spot, especially with how Hero's playing. He's been playing really, really well without Jimmy. PNR, crazy, doing
Yeah.
his thing. I love his game. He's been I had my doubts early on in his career, especially year 2.
I mean, same.
But he's back and he's playing really, really good ball. So keep an eye on that. Clippers, Heat, third quarter over. Heat are 5-0 in their last 5 home games. Clippers are 5-1 to the over in their last 6 road games.
That's so incredibly niche, and I love it. So
Yeah,
that's a great count.
it
I mean,
is.
we're seeing some like 216s ish in the market, so we should be right around that 53, 54
Yeah.
spot. So that's a great spot, a great look.
Yeah, take a look at that. That's man, it's a tough slate, but I think there is some opportunity if you do want to get some action on there. I expect points in the Nuggets Trailblazers. Our last pod we gave out an over that was an interesting spot. It went over 222. I can't even remember the matchup last week, but
I forget now.
I think it was Nets.
Was it Nets?
I don't know.
I'm
Don't
about to
we
have to look.
go back and listen to the pod? It was a winner. Me and JD.
Oh, Mavs, Pistons,
Mavs Pistons went over. We cashed that. So let's try to make it 2 in a row on the overs for me, myself, Sean Little, Denver, Portland, over 226. And then JD, what'd you have?
Under on Jokic, under 11 and a half boards, and look for that Vassell threes line.
Look for the Vassell threes line and look for that third quarter total in the Clippers Heat. I think that's a really interesting trend that if you get a fair number around that 52, 53 number, I believe it may be worth a sprinkle. Maybe keep us locked on the Action Network app. Follow me, Sean Little, at Chicago Flow on the app, at Chicago Flow on Twitter, and then let them know where they can find you, JD.
At Joe Delera, both on the Action app and on Twitter. And you can always catch me on my pod, Cash That as well.
Yes, sir. And make sure you go check out JD drops a prop article every Monday. It is very, very good, loaded with tons of information on the week ahead for NBA props. The NBA prop market is a battlefield. It can get really tough. So use all the information you could get. My guy, JD Joe Delera, breaks it down really, really well. All right, that's it for the Thursday edition of Buckets. For Joe Delera, I am Sean Little. Let's get buckets. We'll see y'all next time.